All right. Welcome everybody on this to this lesson on verbal aptitude. Today is the fourth lesson in the series of CR and SC practice. In this series, we solve a mixed bunch of questions on critical reasoning as well as sentence correction. Now, in on this learning journey, we began by covering various aspects, various concepts pertaining to sentence correction. We have those lessons. After those lessons, we had targeted lessons on modifiers and parallelism and tenses, and then combination of all of them, right? And then we moved on to introductory lessons on critical reasoning, where we tackled assumption related questions, strengthening and weakening questions, basically argument construction questions and argument evaluation questions. So if you've not gone through those lessons, I would request you to, you know, just skim through those lessons before you start with a mixed bag of practice. Right. Having said that, before we begin today's lesson, I would like to give you an introduction of the Unacademy platform. Unacademy, my friends, is India's largest learning platform pertaining to uh, preparation for various competition exams. Now, this is a YouTube channel specific to preparing for uh, management exams like CAT, GMAT, NMAT, ZAT, and the likes. Yes. So, welcome to this learning journey. I am Prankur Arora. I am a trainer and a coach. I've been in the corporate learning industry for a couple of years, where I've consulted with various organizations, different industries. The organizations like Interglobe Air Transport, Marico Limited, Parkred Corporation of India Limited, um, Becton Dickinson India, FMC Corporation, and the likes. I've consulted with industries, with all these companies from different industries on various aspects of communication. That includes both verbal and non-verbal communication. Uh, I am also a published author. I wrote this book called It's Not Funny. It is a work of fiction, satirical fiction. You can find it on Amazon if you're fond of reading, that is. I also hold advanced certifications in facilitation from an American organization called Leadership Management International. LMI is perhaps the world's largest organization when it comes to facilitating programs on transformational leadership. Right. I also run a production house called Tamasha Entertainment. This is a place where I take care of all my creative pursuits. Yeah. So I am going to be your instructor on this journey. Welcome aboard. Unacademy, excels in various areas, but what it actually helps to, you know, just be one step ahead when it comes to offering virtual classes is the pedagogy that Unacademy follows and the educators that are enrolled with Unacademy. The pedagogy, it includes features like giving you a platform where you get access to daily life classes, where you can engage in discussions, doubt clearing sessions in real time. Yes. Uh, we conduct live tests and quizzes. We help you evaluate your performance, and we then give you analytics, data, in-depth insights into your performance, right? So that you develop more perspective as to where you ought to be putting more attention to, what is perfectly all right with your preparation, and where you need to put in more time, stuff like that. Plus the courses, all the courses on the platform, they are structured courses, up to date with the current syllabus. And with one subscription, you get access to anything and everything on the platform. As I mentioned, educators on the platform, these are highly credible people, exponents in their field, who've successfully mentored hundreds and thousands of students to all your IMs and your MDIs and your FMS. Yes. uh, a really cool thing is that you can experience a live class for free and then decide for yourself whether you want to add this to your learning journey or not. And trust me, once you do that, you will. Batches and courses, they keep on going live on the platform on the daily basis, right? So even if you join today, there's no question of, you're missing out on anything, because everything that came before you is available in the form of recordings, plus new batches and courses keep on going live. Language is never a barrier on our platform, because we have educators who teach in vernacular languages. Plus, you design your own schedule, right? You design your own schedule. You decide what it is you really want to study, what it is you don't want to study, so that you never miss out on a class. We give you those push notifications, we give you those timely reminders, so that you don't miss out on anything that you decided you want to attend. Uh, on the platform, as I mentioned, we interact with the educator, in real time. You can ask your questions, you can engage in discussions, all that happens in real time. Get your doubts cleared, right? We give you the answer immediately. Now, a really cool thing is that we conduct live polls during every lesson, and that gives you an adrenaline rush, because you get you get an opportunity to feature on the leaderboard if you give the right answer. As I mentioned, when it comes to live tests and quizzes, we do that regularly, and then we give you those in-depth we give you the in-depth analysis of your performance. Stuff like topic-wise scores, the time you're spending on questions, different topics. We give you all that so that you develop more perspective, right? So that you tweak your learning journey based on your performance, because that is very, very important. Coming to the subscription models, an academy, as you can see, follows various subscription models. I would recommend you opt in for a longer duration, because preparation for a competition exam takes time. It is a long journey, right? So give yourself that gestation period. Give yourself the opportunity to develop that comfort level with the process and with the educators. Yes. Plus, if you use my first name, which is Prankur, Prankur, you get an extra 10% off on any of the subscriptions that you opt for. Having said that, let's begin with today's lesson. Right. So we begin with the question on sentence correction. I'll read it out, and then I'll give you 90 seconds to go through the options, and then we'll move into the discussion, which will begin by my giving you, certain uh, significant hints. So the question says, the statement is, nearly unrivaled in their biological diversity, coral reefs provide a host of benefits that includes the supply of protein for people, protecting shorelines, and they contain biochemical sources for new life-saving medicines. Life-saving medicines. Take 90 seconds, decide what is the concept or what is the rule that is being tested in the question, and then move accordingly. Right, so if you can tell, there is a list in this question, right? There is a list in this question, and whenever we have a list which contains multiple items, what do we test? We test uniformity in the elements of that list, and what do we call that? We call it the rule of parallelism, right? So let's read this. Nearly unrivaled in their biological diversity, coral reefs provide a host of benefits that includes. Now there is a list beginning after includes. Just uh, give me a moment. I apologize. Right. So as I mentioned, there is a list that is beginning after includes. The supply of protein for people. This is element 1. Protecting shorelines. Element 2. And they contain biochemical sources. This is element 3, right? So this is where your list completes. This is where your list begins. Now try and make these elements parallel. Try to get them to be uniform. Which of the options is actually giving you parallel elements, uniform elements, right? Zero in on that. And then I'll give you another hint. Okay, now there is also a case of agreement that this question is testing. For example, coral reefs provide, this is plural, this is plural, okay, a host of benefits. What is benefits? Benefits is plural. That includes, is this a plural verb or a singular verb? This is a singular verb, whereas benefits is a plural term, right? So this should be benefits that include. तो सबसे पहले तो eliminate all the options that are not following this agreement. This is A option आपका गया. Nearly unrivaled in their biological diversity. So this is plural. Therefore, this has to be plural. तो a coral reef भी चला जाता है, a coral reef भी चला जाता है. Now you're left with options B and C. इनमें से चेक करो कि कौन सा वाला पैरेलल है, कौन सा वाला पैरेलल नहीं है. Coral reefs provide a host of benefits. यहाँ पे क्या है? They contain. ठीक है. They supply people with protein. They protect the shorelines and they contain biochemical sources for new life-saving medicines. Right? So B looks to be the correct answer because they supply, they protect, and they contain. These are parallel terms. These are uniform in their construction. Let's check C. Coral reefs provide a host of benefits that include supplying protein for people as well as shoreline protection. This and this supplying protein for people, they are not uniform at all. So if we eliminate C, B uh, therefore is the correct answer. Let me reiterate how we reach this conclusion. सबसे पहले हमें पता चला कि this question gives us a list which has multiple elements, तो हमें parallelism check करना है. फिर हमने elements identify करे उसको bracket off करके, right? This is element 1, this is element 2, this is element 3. तो हमारा पर्पस क्या बन गया कि हमें इन थ्री एलिमेंट्स को यूनिफॉर्म करना है. वी हैव टू मेक दीज थ्री एलिमेंट्स यूनिफॉर्म. एंड देन वी ऑल्सो चेक्ड फॉर अग्रीमेंट बिटवीन आर वर्ब एंड द सब्जेक्ट्स. यस, तो यहाँ पे अग्रीमेंट नहीं था. यहाँ से हिंट मिला हमें कि बेनिफिट्स है तो इंक्लूड होना चाहिए because our verb has to be plural, whereas this verb is singular and benefits is plural. Plus, this pronoun there, it refers to plural coral reefs. This is plural pronoun. तो हमारे दो options वैसे ही eliminate हो गए थे, right? So all your questions, my friends, will actually be testing a combination of these two three rules. You know, parallelism often comes with agreement being tested. Then there's modifiers, and whenever we are testing modifiers, there's often quite often a case of tenses attached to it. So, try to keep your mind open because these sentence correction questions, they will actually test you on two, three rules. Okay, let's move on. Now we arrive at a question that is a critical reasoning question. Let's read the passage. If the facts stated in the passage above are true, a proper test of a country's ability to be competitive is its ability to. Okay. This is actually an argument evaluation question because they're asking you to evaluate this argument. This is a passage. Let's read it out. Neither a rising standard of living nor balanced trade by itself establishes a country's ability to compete in the international marketplace. Both are required simultaneously since standards of living can rise because of growing trade deficits, and trade can be balanced by means of a deadline in a country's standard of living. Okay, I hope you've understood the situation. I'll give you another minute to try and internalize it, try and digest this, and then I'll explain it to you. Okay, so what is the passage telling you? Passage is telling you that there are two things. There are two things that a country needs to be competitive in the international marketplace. This is important. International marketplace. What are the two things? The first thing is standard of living, rising standard of living. Yes, rising standard of living. I'll write it as SOL. What is the second thing? A balanced trade. I'll say BT, right? So, rising standard of living and balanced trade both are important for a country to be competitive. Yes, in the international marketplace. Now, what are they saying? They are saying that a standard of living can rise when there is a trade deficit. तो जब भी trade deficit होगा standard of living आपका बढ़ सकता है. And at the same time they are saying that a trade can be balanced even when standard of living is going down. ठीक है. uh, so I'll just repeat this once again because this can come off as a little confusing statement. They are saying that standard of living can rise when there is a trade deficit, and trade can be balanced when a standard of living goes down, right? So this is all that the passage is telling you, all that the argument is telling you. Now don't try to think कि यार मेरे को economics नहीं आता मैं ये कैसे समझूं, because this is a verbal ability question, this is a logical question. They won't be testing your economics here. Okay, so even if you've never studied economics, it's all right. Though it is a very interesting subject, I would recommend that you study it a little bit. Anyway, now this is a question that is evaluating this argument. आपको ये passage समझ आ गया हो तो let's move into this. They are saying कि if these facts are correct, right, what is a good test for a country's ability to be competitive? ठीक है, that this is what we are trying to evaluate from this passage. Let's look at all the options. Option A, balance its trade while its standard of living rises, right? This is making some sense to me because इन्होंने थोड़ी dichotomous situation बना दी where they are saying this can go up when this is on decline, and this can go up, or rather this can be balanced when standard of living declines. So they are saying a real test for a country's ability to be competitive is when the country balances its trade and increases its standard of living, right? Because this is what they were saying. They were saying, uh, you know, both are required simultaneously. Neither a rising standard of living nor balanced trade by itself means either this or that, establishes a country's ability to be competitive. They are saying both are required simultaneously, so this is making sense to me. Let's look at option B. Balance its trade while its standard of living falls. Now, this is, you know, they are taking care of a single thing. They're not taking care of both those things. They're only taking care of one aspect, which is balancing the trade. Let's look at C. Increase trade deficits while standard of living rises. Again, they're increasing trade deficit so that standard of living increases. So this is again taking care of not both but only a single area. Decrease trade deficit while its standard of living falls, whereas the question was saying when the standard of living falls, you can at least take care of your trade, you can at least balance it when the standard of living is declining, right? So this is a neither nor situation. ये तो बिल्कुल ही गलत हो गया. Keep its standard of living constant while trade deficits rise. When trade deficits rise, standard of living can increase, right? This is what the passage is saying. Again, this is again a neither nor situation. So option A looks to be the correct option, guys, because it is taking care of both the things, right? So this is an actual logical reasoning question. This is not an economics question at all. Okay, let's move into a sentence correction question now. Literacy opened up entire realms of verifiable knowledge to ordinary men and women, having been previously considered incapable of discerning truth for themselves. All right. I hope you've read the options by now. Take another 30 seconds to understand the question. Okay, I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. Look at uh, literacy opened up entire realms of verifiable knowledge to ordinary men and women. This is plural, right? Check whether there is agreement in this question. All right. Check for agreement in the options. Which option is giving you agreement? Okay, let's look at all the options. Scan through the options. Having been previously considered incapable of discerning truth for themselves. This is plural, right? This refers to men and women, so we'll keep this option. Who had previously been considered incapable of discerning truth for themselves. This is again plural. Previously considered incapable of discerning truth for himself or herself. Now, this himself or herself is incorrect. It does not refer to men and women. This is plural, right? So we eliminate option C right away. D, of whom it had been, what is it referring to? Been considered they were incapable of discerning truth for themselves. This is all right, but this it, what is it? Right? So this is an ambiguous pronoun. Therefore, we eliminate D. Who had previously been considered incapable of discerning truth for himself or herself. This is again, we eliminate this. Why? Because we have men and women. Men and women, plural, right? So, सबसे पहले, what did we check? We checked for agreement in men and women and the pronouns that are referring to men and women. All right. Now, we have options A and B, right? I'll give you a rule which is very very important when we are trying to solve these questions. जब भी ऐसे cases होते हैं, literacy opened up entire realms of verifiable knowledge to ordinary men and women, and we're beginning another clause, right? So whenever we have such construction, we try to use, relative pronouns like who or which, right, or something like a that. Yes, because this verb form, having been any verbing, verb plus ing plus been, to begin with a clause like this is not, recommended. It's not grammatically correct to do it. Therefore, यहाँ पर जब आता है who had previously been considered, who is referring to what? Men and women, right? Who is referring to men and women. So you'll have a pronoun right in place referring to men and women. All right. Therefore, we'll go with option B. We'll go with the correct use of pronouns, and we have themselves, which is correctly referring to men and women again, and we'll eliminate option A. All right, guys. I hope you've understood this question. Let's move on to another critical reasoning question. When there is, which of the following, if true, does most to explain the contrast? So this is a trigger word. There is a contrast in the question, right? Let's read the passage. When there is less rainfall than normal, the water level of Australian rivers falls and the rivers flow more slowly because algae, whose habitat is river water, grow best in slow moving water. The amount of algae per unit of water generally increases when there has been little rain. By contrast, this is where the contrast is coming in. By contrast, however, following a period of extreme drought, algae levels are low even in very slow moving river water. Alright, so you have to explain the contrast, you have to construct the argument to a certain extent, read all these options, and then I'll flow into the explanation. Okay, what is the situation? Right, let's evaluate the situation. What is the situation is that we are talking about rivers in Australia. We are saying when there is less rainfall, the rivers they flow slowly, right? The water level goes down and the rivers they flow slowly. Now we understand that algae they reside in the river, and they grow best in slow moving water. So generally speaking, when there is lesser rainfall and the water level goes down and the water is moving slowly, the population of algae increases. Yes, but क्या है ये trigger word? By contrast, this is important. The trigger word says whenever following a period of extreme drought, जब extreme drought होता है तो algae levels they're low even in slow moving river water. So they are saying after droughts, the algae level it goes down, right? So how do you explain this contrast? All right. Uh, Read the options once more, and then I'll flow into the explanation. Okay. Option number A. During periods, I hope you've arrived at your favorable option, so that when I'm taking you through these options, you can understand why your option is correct or the rationale because of which your option is incorrect. During periods of extreme drought, the populations of some of the species that feed on algae tend to fall. Right? So what are they saying? They are saying जब extreme drought होता है, then there are some populations, some animals, some species that actually feed on algae, and the population for those animals goes down. So if the population of those animals is going down, then the population of algae has to go up, right? But what are they saying? They are saying that algae ka population is low, right? So A is not giving us any explanation for anything at all. Let's look at B. The more slowly water moves, the more conducive its temperature is to the growth of algae. Now we're talking about something that the passage already told us. It does not describe the contrast at all, right? The passage was telling us जितना slow moving water होगा उतना algae का population बढ़ेगा. This is not giving us any reason for the contrast. So we eliminate B. C. When algae populations reach very high levels, conditions within the river can become toxic for some of the other species that normally live there. Again, this is not explaining the contrast at all, right? This is not telling us as to why after drought algae levels are low when we know that when there is low river water, when there is the river water, the river level has fallen. When the river is flowing slowly, algae increases, right? This is not explaining the contrast at all. They're only telling us why other species ka population might be low. Yes, so we eliminate C as well. D. Australian rivers dry up completely for short intervals in periods of extreme drought. Now, this is ringing some bells in my head. Why is it doing that? Because after drought, maybe it is taking some time for the river to actually, to the river has completely dried up. Algae need some river water, even if low level of river water. Algae need some river water to grow. They are saying completely dry up हो जाता है. तो completely dry up होने के बाद, when there is some rainfall, the river water increases. Yes, so it could take some time for algae levels to rise as well, because algae levels also fell, and algae vanished when the river vanished. Yes. So this is giving me some logical explanation. Let me look at E now. Yes. Except during periods of extreme drought, algae levels tend to be higher in rivers in which the flow has been controlled by damming than in rivers that flow freely. This is again giving me no reason to explain the contrast. Therefore, I eliminate E and I only go ahead with D. Alright. I hope you've understood this explanation, guys. Let's move on to the next question. In early Mesopotamian, just give me a reason. In early Mesopotamian civilization, castor oil served not only as a laxative but also a skin softening lotion, and it was a construction lubricant for sliding giant stone blocks over wooden rollers. Read the passage, read the sentence, read the options, take 60 to 90 seconds, and then I'll flow into the explanation. Right, I hope you've been able to understand the uh, question. This is again, guys, try to identify what is the rule that is being tested. In early Mesopotamian civilization, castor oil, not only but also. What is this? This is a correlative, right? If you've understood, not only X but also Y, right? So X and Y, they have to be uniform in their construction, right? X and Y have to be parallel, right? So what are we testing? We are testing parallelism in this question, right? As a laxative, a skin softening solution, and it was a construction. So we have another conjunction, right? So check for parallelism and try and reach an answer. So guys, what do we have? We have a list. Yes, we have a list. We have a list here. We have a list. अब यहाँ पे एक और conjunction है. So when you come across such questions, what is the kind of parallel construction we can incorporate in the elements of our list? X is an element, Y is an element, and let me call this Z, and Z is an element. So what kind of construction can we look at? We can look at not only as a laxative, so we can look at as X, as Y, and as Z, right? Because we have an and here, right? So X and Y and Z, they have to be parallel, and this is the verb form that we are using. This is a sure short way to get parallel construction, not only as a laxative but also a skin softening lotion, and it was a what is this it? what is this 8? And it was a constant. This is not parallel at all, so we eliminate A. As bahar aa gaya, as not only a laxative but also a skin softening lotion, and it was a. So this construction, your third element is not at all parallel with elements A, X, 1 and 2. So we eliminate B, not only as a laxative but also as a skin softening lotion and as a construction lubricant, right? So C, it looks to be the correct answer because it is maintaining parallelism among all the three elements, but as a skin softening lotion, not only के बाद but also आता है, and in construction as a lubricant for sliding the end. This is again not parallel at all. आपका correlative ही parallel नहीं था. Not only as a laxative but a skin softening lotion and in construction. This is again not parallel at all. So guys, this was a parallelism question. The only option that is giving us parallel construction is option C. I hope you've understood this explanation and that you arrived at the same answer. If not, I hope you've understood my rationale for it and why the other options are incorrect. Alright, let's move on to the next critical reasoning question. Read the passage and then we'll move into the explanation. Which of the following challenges indicates the most serious weakness in the attempted explanation described above? Look at the passage. This is again an argument evaluation question. You're evaluating this argument and looking for a weakness. When hypnotized subjects are told that they are deaf and are then asked whether they can hear the hypnotist, they reply no. Some theorists try to explain this by arguing that the cells of hypnotized subjects are dissociated into separate parts, and that the part that is deaf is dissociated from the part that replies. So, what is the passage telling you? The passage is telling you that there are two parts to an individual that get formed due to hypnosis. One part is deaf, and the other part hears, right? And when an individual is told that they're deaf and are asked whether they can hear the hypnotist, they reply no. ठीक है. अब वो अगर hearing part में है तो ही वो reply कर पाएंगे ना, क्योंकि वो सुन पा रहे हैं, right? Deaf part means that they're not capable of hearing at all, right? So this is the explanation that your theorist is giving. When they try to explain this result, they say कि दो parts में divide हो जाता है. एक part deaf part है, एक part hearing part है. Hearing part जब होता है और उनसे वो पूछते हैं कि can you hear me, they reply no. All right. Now, which of these questions can actually challenge the passage, challenge the argument of the theorist, and basically weaken the argument? Go through the options in 60 seconds. I'll give you a solution. Right. Let's go and dig into the options one by one. Option A. Why does the part that replies not answer yes? Now, this is making some logical sense. Why is it making some logical sense? Uh, because if the person is deaf, they cannot hear the question, right? If the person can hear the question and they are asked, "Can you hear me?" The person can say yes, right? Why is the person saying no? नो डेफ के केस में, और अगर डेफ है तो वो तो सुन ही नहीं पाएंगे, right? If there are two parts to an individual, understand that if I am the person being hypnotized, तो मेरा ये वाला पार्ट डेफ पार्ट है, ये वाला पार्ट मेरा हियरिंग पार्ट है. अब अगर मेरे डेफ पार्ट में मैं हूँ हिप्नोसिस के बाद, और आप मुझसे कुछ भी पूछोगे तो मैं आपको कोई आंसर नहीं दे पाऊंगा. But if I am in my hearing part and I can hear you and you ask me, "Can you hear me?" Why am I replying with a no? I can reply with a yes, right? So this is making logical sense to me. This actually weakens this argument. Let us look at option B, C, D, and E though. Why are the observed facts in need of any special explanation? This is a confusing question. This is saying, why do we need an explanation? Right? So this is not challenging the explanation at all. Rather, it is asking you, why do we need an explanation at all? So we'll eliminate B. C. Why do the subjects appear to accept the hypnotist's suggestion that they are deaf? Now, if this, sorry, if the argument is correct, right? In case the argument is correct, in case the argument is factually correct and the theorists are giving us the correct explanation, then they can answer why the subjects seem to accept the hypnotist suggestion that they are deaf, right? That is in case this is correct, but it is not challenging the reason. It is not challenging the reasoning at all, right? This question is not challenging the reasoning. In fact, this question can get answered if we conclude that this argument is correct, that this argument is not weak at all. ठीक है, तो C हम eliminate इसलिए कर देंगे. D. Why do hypnotized subjects all respond the same way in the situation described? Now again, the theorist can answer that question if this explanation is correct, but we are not challenging the explanation here. We need to challenge the explanation, we need to weaken it, right? That is why we eliminate option D as well. E. Why are the separate parts of the self the same for all subjects? Again, why this is, guys, understand कि आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये सब valid questions है, but ये valid questions होने के बावजूद हमारे argument को challenge नहीं कर रहे हैं, right? We can get this answer if we conclude that theorist is correct. Right now we have to conclude that the theorist is wrong. We have to weaken his argument, we have to challenge his argument, right? We can get answers to D, C, and C, D, and E. If we conclude that this is correct, then theorist can give you an explanation for all these three. But right now you cannot challenge him and say ki bhai, what is this you're saying? Only A can actually challenge, option A can challenge and question the theorist and be like, you know what, if the person is capable of hearing in one part, it is only through that part the person is answering. So logically person should answer with a yes and not a no, right? Only A is giving us that explanation. All right. So guys, this is it for this short lesson on critical reasoning and sentence correction. We've solved a few questions. I'll request you to go through those questions again. I request you to look at this video again, so that when you're going through the questions, you're able to pause when we arrive at the question, solve it again, and then play the video again and see whether your rationale for the question was similar to my rationale for the question. This was a pretty short video. We solved three very important critical reasoning questions where mostly we were evaluating the argument, and we solved some sentence correction questions pertaining to agreement and parallelism and pronouns, right? So uh, keep up with these videos, keep up with these lessons, and see you again.